Speaking freedom, giving you the answers to be free. Be free.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's performance is about to begin.
Welcome to the Speaking Freedom TV show. Of course, I am your host, Casey, Dr. Casey, that is. And this is my first guest of the season, Dominique. Hey, Dominique, how are you doing?
Hello, I am fantastic. I'm glad to be here. How are you today? I don't think I've asked you.
Pretty decent. You know, life is good. I've made some great choices to put me in a place to where I don't have a lot of regrets or, like I'm not depressed about my situation. It doesn't mean that life is perfect, but it's not bad, okay?
I see
And how
you're
are you
diving
doing
right
today?
in. Yeah,
Right, right, right. You gotta have
yeah,
that
I
mindset.
am. Yeah, I'm definitely in a boat where I enjoy life in like all aspects, living in that moment and just being myself. So those that authentic honesty is something that I hold very dear within myself. So every day is like this joyous thing for me. So conversations like this really get me going because I get to talk about life and all the wonderful things. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, good. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, where to start? Where to start? Well, as of now, my focus is on my spiritual life coaching business.
Hmm.
I am diving into that world. I really want to go full time, but I am a very proud family man. I have two boys and my girlfriend. They are the joys of my life, and I want to continue to be able to spend time with them, support them, and live that fun, family life. And transitioning over to being a spiritual life coach full time, it is one of my dreams. So I'm trying to make that transition now and really kind of getting myself out there and using my voice to, attract my manifestations.
Man,
But yeah.
being a life coach with a family is difficult at times because you're taking on so many people's problems and then you have to kind of cipher through, drop the dead weight, and then go home and be your regular self.
Mm,
And depending on how you life coach, you might end up taking that home with you, even if you don't intend to, because it just sits on your spirit until you get the answers that the person needs.
yeah. What one thing that I love telling my clients, and it's something that I live by as well, is having that authenticity so I don't feel as if I have to switch as much. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm this, I'm this way. I speak about my spirituality, I speak about my journey, even in business settings or even in settings where it kind of be like a religious connotation. I respect everyone. So I hope people give me that same respect as well. So I'm gonna be who I am in every situation. So when I do, speak to clients and we talk about different things and we work through different things, I always encourage them to, be themselves and live authentically so they don't have to feel as if, they leave a piece of them when they have to go do something else. So something that I'm learning to live by.
So, how did you get into intuitive life coaching? Like, what was that journey like?
Oh man, the journey has been since, kind of birth in that way. I didn't really want to get into life coaching.
Hmm.
It's just something that that's where the path led me. You seem like you have experience with that kind of journey as well. For me, it happened at 7. Like my mother, she knew she was psychic. She practiced her gifts, and I approached her one day with a very interesting dream that I had, and I was having a conversation with the spirit in my dream, and from that day, having that conversation with my mother giving me tips of what she's done, and I kind of took that. Not obviously 7 years old, didn't take it as I would now,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it was something that I held true, and I continue to kind of use my gifts in a way without fully understanding what they were. I did encounter some issues where I kind of overused them and I didn't use them in an appropriate way. So I kind of,
Oh, wait, stop. Tell me, what do you mean you overuse your gift, and how didn't you use it in an appropriate way?
yeah, let's dive into a quick story. So I had got a depth of doing automatic writing. So let me back up. So what I learned about being a psychic was the first thing obviously it was very scary to me, because I felt a very real conversation, when I went to sleep, and then I started to recognize things in my waking life, of like energies around me. And I'm a Scorpio. Like that's one of the like kind of intuitive traits. And
Mm-hmm.
I say that to say that because it's definitely true for my life in a way where I've always felt like this energy around people, and being able to know if there's like an honesty behind their actions, or their intentions. And that kind of messed me up for a while, but I'll get into that in a minute. But so starting off, it was simply me just trying to get over the fear of something, of interacting with something that wasn't physically there for me, and just learning
Mm-hmm.
to accept that within my reality. It I really got shunned when I tried to share that outside of my family. Even I have an older brother and a sister. They weren't as in tune or adept or interested in those things as I was. Um, and when I remember sharing it with my best friend at the time, I had moved to a new school around fourth grade. I
Mm-hmm.
shared it with them, and I still recall to this day their reaction was so standoffish, and they just really shunned me in a way where it made me kind of dive into myself and not share that with anyone since since
Mm-hmm.
that point as a child. So just decided to kind of use what I knew at the time, which was, being able to feel energy. And then I learned about automatic writing in this way where I could relax my mind, and be present, and just allow spirit to take control of my hand. And I use that for test. And it affects me now because there's oftentimes I'll forget, certain words to spell because I cheated on so many spelling tests and so many multiple choice tests where if I didn't know the answer, I'm like, help me out, so just let me, and it would work until I still recall the day I was like, okay, try to rely on it again, and I didn't feel anything. It's like, okay, where are you at? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel anything, and I haven't been able to pick automatic writing back up since then. um but
So
it's one of
it's so
those.
crazy because a part of my giftedness is automatic writing, and
uh,
it the way that it comes to me is so crazily because when I first started really like honing in on my own gift, and I've always kind of known I was prophetic, but I was more like, no, not me, like kind of in denial, um, in a sense, not understanding the power within myself. And it was so crazy because when I started on social media, like when Instagram first started back in 2012-ish,
mhm.
um, I used to get on there and I used to just write all type of stuff to and or about all type of people. And it would be true for them. And it was just like, oh my God, like, how did I know this? I don't know, but okay, I'm gonna roll with it. And, as an adult, it's harder to accept because you've gone through life kind of in a state of denial. Probably more likely not because of your own denial, but because the people around you don't accept, don't get, or don't understand. And it can kind of polarize you and make you an outcast in a way because you notice things that other people don't notice. You are seeing things that other people wish to hide, and then you say something and you're not even cognizant. Or for me, it would be a point to where I wouldn't even be cognizant that nobody else knows, sees, or understands what I'm seeing right now, and I look like the oddball. So even now today, I think I deal with kind of feeling like the oddball because I am in tune in a different way. It's just that now I think kind of like what you said with you don't have it no more. I turned it off for so long, it's hard to be like, okay, I'm ready to just go at it because it used to be my life from sun up to sundown. My day was focused around what do you have for me to do, say, or be. I mean, and I would just be in the house all day. Sometimes wouldn't eat because I'm so focused on writing and whatever is I'm feeling that it would just overtake everything. So I totally understand what you mean.
That's awesome. It's um I could tell that you are a worker just by your content. So by you saying you do automatic writing, that's very interesting to me, you know, and it's curious because I haven't really had too many conversations with someone who is experienced in that. So yeah, this is very interesting. So thank you for
And
sharing
it's
that.
crazy because one of the first things I said earlier was like, it's not a lot of when you have any type of gift of foresight, insight, the ability to see past, present, or future. I don't know if you have dreams, but if you have dreams as well, it is hard to find and connect with other people who authentically, not people that's trying to be and they're looking for things, they're trying to be the person but that are actually created to be that person. So it's hard to find people and connect with somebody that spiritually aligns. And sometimes it doesn't feel like we are created to connect and stay closely knit with people like us. We are only I want to say but a vapor or a breeze that comes through their life for a purpose, reason, or season. And then we kind of ebb and flow through life with people's lives for all of our lives.
I've noticed that to be true within my life as well. It just I haven't attached myself to like groups or like, particular relationships unless it was, energetically connecting in that way. And just finding, as I mentioned, it was even coming out and kind of communicating that with a friend at the time, it took me in to a place where I didn't communicate, for a very long time, and it made me depressed in that way because I was
Mm-hmm.
always searching for connection and community with people who were like me, but it was hard to find that because of the gifts and that intuitive
Mm-hmm.
knowing, that other people weren't kind of interested in or haven't explored within themselves
Mm-hmm.
yet. So
Mm-hmm.
it was always kind of this solo journey in a way to know what I know and to just exist in life, just kind of blending in and trying to find my group. And
Mm-hmm.
it really hasn't even happened, as you kind of mentioned, it's seasons and then I, continue to change and evolve and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that people, are not in my life, but it's it's a difference when someone is like ingrained in a way that's soul level,
Mm-hmm.
like my girlfriend.
It
That's something that is so, completely entwined, that I don't foresee that coming undone. But like a friendship in a way, we could
mm-hmm.
still be distant, and still have that friendship, but our lives just don't cross as much anymore.
Yeah, and it is definitely rare to find people. I think mostly because we most spiritually led people, like really spiritually led people, are kind of isolated because we don't control the gift. The gift kind of does what it wants to do. So
Yeah.
you can't just be like, okay, like even though I say I turn it off and I try not to hone in, I like for real, I was okay, so I'm gonna tell this little story and then we're gonna get
Get
back to the
into it.
interview. So I had been doing some online dating and I had matched with a guy, and during the course of our conversation, I could just feel the spirit on me. I'm feeling it now just talking about it. I could just feel the spirit on me telling me to tell him, like, stop dating with money. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing this and stop doing that. Like, he's like, so you don't want me to do that? I'm like, it would be, I mean, it doesn't suit me to tell you not to do that right now. Okay. Like, of course, it would benefit me if you led with money and just started doing things, financially. But something is in me is telling you, and we was on the phone for probably about 20 minutes, and of that 20-minute conversation, let's just say probably about 10 of it was just so, and I was like, I don't know, this is not me no more. And I had to tell him, like, I know a difference between when it's me talking to you and when spirit is trying to tell you something that you're not hearing, but he has to use me in order to, to relay the message. And
Yes.
I think the guy received it, but his attitude and his ego was in a weird place. So he took it as he heard it. He received it because he was talking about it for a couple of days after that. But it just took him by surprise. But it took me by surprise too, because you can start having a conversation in one way and then God will take over, like, nope, and turn this way, okay? Immediate left. But enough of my stories. This is an interview about you today. So how
I'll flip
did
it every once in a while. Try to get you to tell.
how did connecting with your girlfriend go in the sense of being in alignment and the spirituality? Is she also spiritual?
Yes. Our story is very, I don't want to say unique, but obviously everybody is unique. It's interesting in this way where our relationship developed and we came together because we were ready.
Hmm.
Um, she was working on herself on a self-love journey, and so was I.
Hmm.
There's like a 5, 6 year age difference, so we just at different places in our lives.
Hmm.
But even still, that journey of self-love and understanding like boundaries and what you want out of life and how to love yourself, both, you know, the parts that you don't like and the parts that you do.
Hmm.
That's something that we were on a journey of when we met. So when we did meet, it was a friendship thing, because we were both focused on different things. Um, I was in a I was getting out of a relationship at the time, and she was going through some things as well. So that friendship really wasn't able to fully kind of manifest for a while. So it was really just a distant thing in this way, but there was a connection there, because it was just the energy, just being able to read that energy. It was a calming energy, unlike before, and like trying to find a partner in a relationship, you know, those butterflies, those exciting feelings that kind of arise. I had learned that those feelings, or those people when I had those feelings, weren't right for me.
Hmm.
It was spirit kind of giving me that indication to just pay attention and to
Hmm.
understand and to take notice. It wasn't this, hey, that's the one. You know, sometimes it was, you know, soul contracts or soulmates. And I do recognize people who are my soulmates in my life,
Hmm.
again, just able to read energy. So I understand those, but at the time in my life, I really wanted something so solid and so real and so authentic. I didn't feel like that was it. So I've always just waited until that rise. And when I met her, her name is Asia. When I met her, she
Hey, Asia. Shout
when I
out.
met her, yeah, this relationship taught me about love in a sense, in in a relationship sense, in that romantic sense, where I was already on that self-love journey, so I understood what I wanted, but then I had to come to this realization of how to love someone else and how to respect their boundaries and how to understand their perspectives. And we obviously had clashes in terms of like just perspective on love. Nothing
Hmm.
to where, you know, there was any character differences. And that's the thing that I said is kind of unique. We had issues on just like understanding what love is and how to love one another. And
Hmm.
that was so powerful in this way where I we had to talk about it maybe just a couple weeks ago. It's like, when did we really, like, you know, make it official? Because we had felt so comfortable with each other, and it was such a strong, loving, passionate kind of way. It just kind of melded to now. The years are kind of going by. I don't even kind of recognize how many, you know, are kind of flying by, because every day it's just a joy to just be around her and to continue to have that same love that we've always had. And it's to a level of unconditional, in that way where I love her as a person, as a character, not what she can do, what she can provide,
Hmm.
but who she is as a person. And that's what I was looking for as well. And I found it. So,
How did that impact your journey spiritually and becoming an intuitive life coach? Or
well, it's
staying, because you might have already kind of been into it, but how did that, you know, help you in this path?
Well, it showed me how to love other people as well. So the romantic relationship, again, it's so unconditional. It made me start to examine other relationships that I have as well, and like friendships and family and so on and so forth. Not that these weren't obviously in my conversation, but excuse me, my thought process, but it was like a switch in this way where I already to that point had found God and had known myself. And now I had known love that I have been searching for in reality, like all my life. That's been my main. kind of goal and vice at the same time, you know, always
Mm-hmm.
seeking love and, you know, the wrong places at times. So having that and coming to know it, and in my experience, it's what known as they say that twin flame love, and where
Mm-hmm.
we like mirror each other's energy in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to know how strong that is, like I've had experiences just spiritually, of like knowing how we connect on a life path level, on like a soul level, and going through that kind of propelled me to understanding what love is and what energy is. And it made me dive in into want to build in a community around myself and understanding what spirituality means to me and what life means to me. And at that time, I was also learning to live very presently, because I was coming in line with my intuition and just
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with my guides, you know, all the time. And I was learning to accept everything as a sign and really developing my gifts. And going down that path is what made me go into spiritual life coaching, because started speaking to more people, started building partnerships and having this community. And then I realized that I was really having a lot of fun, and that people look to me to be that voice for them and to share my experiences. And that type of energy has existed all my life. You know, it's something
Mm-hmm.
that people have always gravitated to me to know something or to just be in my presence. And I wanted to build a life for myself where I can be at peace in this way. So this was the path that I chose, because I found so much joy and love into helping people and to sharing the love that I've come to know to be true in my life. And I love the things that I do. As I mentioned at the top, I love life in such a way where I'm excited for every moment. I'm excited to get old. You know, there's just so much joy there. And I found by sharing that, by using my voice, people seek that. And I learned that, you know, that's aligned with my purpose of raising that vibration, as they say, of, you know, teach, reach one, teach one. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. I try to give my time, or, you know, give my energy to help anyone who seeks it.
So what was the hardest thing that you had to overcome or get free from to really progress in this journey?
Imposter syndrome. That's
Mm-hmm.
easy. Yeah. Because it's a profession where, at least for me, I didn't have anyone to kind of mentor me in that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that my mother helped me early on, but my mother, she died last year. She's been
Oh,
sick.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, thank you. She was sick maybe like 4 years prior to that. And then I moved away from home maybe, I don't know, it's been like 8 years now. I live in Los Angeles. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. So moving away from home, and even prior to that, my my thoughts and like my journey didn't align with being spiritual at that time, you know, and having
Mm-hmm.
communication with my mother. Like I talked to her every day, you know, it was we had a relationship, you know, that mother-son relationship where, you know, I was calling just because I knew she wanted to hear my voice, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just tell her about the things in life. And I would always ask her things. She'll give me a little kind of tidbits here and there about her life, but she was a person who didn't, you know, she didn't want to give, didn't like the spotlight too much, didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
give too much information. But I was always persistent, so I talked to my mother all the time. But when coming out and kind of getting out on my own and really being an adult and moving around the country in this way, I really learned to kind of be my own man and to explore life in that way. So coming now and to trying to be a spiritual coach, it was that imposter syndrome of, am I really like, are people going to be, am I going to be able to like read, you know, people, and for it to be authentic and for them to resonate? You know, if I give a guided meditation, will people be able to dive into the places that I dive into myself, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
just, I didn't have much experience with doing it with other people. So that's what I had to do. It just took a while for me to meet people, for them to trust me, and for me to have
Mm-hmm.
conversations with my guides, and to get confidence within myself to say, hey, you know, they want to come to me for a reason. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting messages for a reason. That's one of the biggest things that I kind of took from my journey this way. Someone told me that I'm getting the message for a reason. I'm adept at this for a reason. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
have fun doing these things. Like I love meditating. That's something I will do at any moment. And it's fun to me. And not that I'm just good at it. It's fun. It's something that I enjoy. I have a passion for it. So I decided to take it and see where it can lead me.
That's good. So, with the challenges that you've had to overcome, um, how has those things changed you as a person? I mean, you sound like you were pretty evolved at a very young age. And thank God for your mom because a lot of parents don't um, feed into, strengthen, and even sometimes even know how to adjust and deal with spiritual things. Unfortunately, a lot of our parents and grandparents were pushed out of spirituality and given religion almost to where if they did anything spiritual that didn't come from religion, they felt bad, which internally made them to turn it down and turn it off. So I thank God for your mom for even being able to give you that because so many people don't get it. So what tell me about those challenges and struggles and how they changed you as a person.
Um, I've changed from this level of perception. And I have to say it that way because it's so deep where my mind has shifted. Before, I don't want to say I was immature because I've always been have a level of maturity,
Hmm.
but mentally it felt like I didn't see life clearly in that
Hmm.
way. Um, and in hindsight, like I'm not afraid of any conversation. Like fear doesn't like it's not able to grasp me as it
Hmm.
used to because
Hmm.
there's been such a shift in my thought process and how I interact in life. Um, I've become unfathomable in that way, and it's been just the challenges of again I've been chasing love all my life. I don't know if it was just kind of like in my soul contract. I just kind of
Hmm.
came onto this
Hmm.
earth just looking for love and in every way, and always feeling like I didn't get enough of it. I mentioned my mother was very great at like conversations and being able to talk to me and being logical. But the thing that we lacked was like that physical kind of affections a lot of times where
Hmm.
I know like even my love language in the way is, physical touch. Like you have
Hmm.
to be near me in order for me to kind of like feel that you appreciate and love me that way. And I didn't get that with like my family support, not even it wasn't just my immediate family, but just my family in general.
In general.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
I
so it
think, but
was,
you know what? I think that is, I almost want to say a part of when you have a family that's spiritually gifted, for whatever reason, they can be very non-affectionate. I don't know if it is a sensory thing where because different people's gifts turn on in different ways.
yeah.
And for some people, you can be around a person and you can feel the energy. For some people, you can touch a person and you can feel the energy. And energy can be so strong and overwhelming if you're not in alignment mentally to understand what's going on or what you're feeling. I mean, especially when you have any type of empathic gift, you feel energy like it's your own. So it's very hard to determine is that them or is that me? And it can have you very confused.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. I'm definitely going to take that. I haven't really thought that, there may be some sensitivity there. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to give my mom some grace in my memory in terms of that. Um, because it could have been very difficult in that way. So yeah. So thank you. But the challenges of kind of overcoming that loneliness, it was very much loneliness in terms of that, and just feeling that lack of community and just feeling like an outcast in that way. I was always
Hmm.
searching for community, and those are the things that really change me. Oh, and just life itself. I feel like everyone has this idea of like, what is life? What is my life supposed to be? What is my
Hmm.
purpose?
Hmm.
Where do I fit? So with me, I just felt like my emotions and like that energy so intensely kind of growing up. So anytime I would be angry or sad, it just felt like it was just overwhelming me. And I had to learn to kind of figure that out. And that was a part of my journey, just, crying to God, asking, the universe for answers and for guidance and, help me through this. And I've received answers and clarity in so many ways, and I've like held on to those to that energy as well, just to say, like, thank you, for being able to help me. And but that's the only way I've been able to get to this point today. I've had so much support, like not in the physical, but my gods, my ancestors, they are amazing. They always on point. Um, quick warning, when I do start to get.
Hi, I'm Casey, Dr. Casey. Welcome to Speaking Freedom. We are happy to have you, and we hope that we're able to help you in every way possible. Have a good evening.
Like, I guess, energetically connected, or like if we do a reading, I'm probably gonna cry. It's
Okay.
messages will get pretty strong, so it's normal.
That is not uncommon. It depends kind of on the person. I always get very intense chills, like, oh my God. I'd be like, oh, okay. I know this is it right
Yeah,
here.
they
Whatever you
start
were
to
supposed to
gather and
get.
like, hey, you're talking about me. What are we doing?
Listen,
Uh,
whatever you were supposed to get, when I get them chills, you got it, because that was it right there. But I know that it can be impactful to people differently, and it can kind of be scary at times, because even when you've been practicing spirituality and walking in your giftedness for a very long time, God can be like, okay, I got something new for you. And you'd be like, what
always.
in the world? Ow. And it will have you kind of stuck in a sense of, you think you had it down packed, and just when you thought you had it, here goes something new to add on to your your discovery packet or whatever. Um, so let me ask you this: is there anything about your journey or story that you would change, looking back at your life?
Oh man. Um, that's kind of hard to say because then that would change some events.
Everything, yeah.
No. I don't have like regrets of like my past.
No, no, no,
No, yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even to like change things though, that would mean that there was something, in my current situation that I would like
That
to
would
see
not be.
different,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't there's nothing. I'm extremely happy. Like, happy is too it's used too frequently in order
Mm-hmm.
to express, how I truly feel about life in that way. Like, I'm not seeking anything outside of myself for joy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I already have is internal. Like everything, like my family, my relationships, my career, stability, all that is just like cherries on top. I
Mm-hmm.
could lose like my job, and that's not gonna affect my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
My joy and the things that I love. I still have access to that. I still love that. The people are still in my life. I still have my connection to God and that love for myself. So I'm not missing anything. I'm happy everything that's happened because I know it was important for my growth. Like, I've
Mm-hmm.
seen I've done a lot of shadow work in this way where I've accepted the things in me that I wanted to change, and I did that. But I saw, the decisions or the people who have came in my life, they were there for a purpose because I learned something from everybody who has ever come into my life. So I continue to remember those things and cherish everything that's given to me. So no, I don't think there's anything that I would change. I'm headed to exactly where I wanted to go.
So let me ask you a question. This is not one of my normal questions, but I would like to get a brief description slash understanding, or some informational content about your connection with God.
Okay. Um, well, here's I guess the story that kind of started it all for me in a way. Um, so I recall, like, there was this house, there was this bridge, and there was this river. And I used to like leave my house all the time and then walk to this bridge, because that's where I wanted to kill myself. And every time just kind of looking at the water, just kind of thinking, just like I wanted to leave, and the thing that kept me wasn't anything for me. I was completely content with leaving, but I just kept thinking about how everyone else is going to feel in that way. And that was a part of my issue, like why I was depressed, because I was thinking about, man, everyone's going to feel bad about this, but what about me? What about how I feel? And I even recall having the conversation, like I had the conversation with my mom or brother, like, hey, I want to kill myself. I want you to be prepared for that. And like even their reactions to it was not what I expecting. It was from their perspective of saying, like, I don't want you to go for my reasons. And at the time I wanted to know, how do you feel about me, like from a perspective of, you love and cherish me because of who I am, not because of what I can provide to you. And that was something that I really struggled with. And I recall I had a dog at the time too. I don't want to get into the story about her, but she was a guardian for me spiritually as well. And I would always kind of manifest things through her. And it was a time where we were sitting in the front yard. It was at night. I think it ended up raining later that night. And I was just crying, just in the front of the yard at night, crying with my dog. And I recall her just kind of, cuddling up with me, just trying to let me know it's going to be okay. And I was just like, God, I just need to know if you're real. I just need to know that, I have some type of purpose, that I'm not alone in this. And I recall a couple weeks later, God had showed up to me, and it was in this very it was an out of body experience. I don't want to call it a dream, because I was there, and I was sitting, and I was surrounded, and I was comforted by like this unconditional love in this way. And that's the best way I can describe it, as I felt so much warmth and so much acceptance. And they told me that they were God, and they were answering me. And I came out of that like with that clarity of like, okay, because I wasn't looking for, the secrets of the universe in a way. I just wanted to know that my life had a purpose, and that, that there was someone out there kind of looking out for me. And having that clarity helped me continue to move past that depression, continue to want to fight past that, anxiety and that loneliness. And and I continue to receive though that kind of clarity, of that had my ancestors kind of watching over me, and knowing, and that is what led me to getting over that loneliness, to feel like if I didn't have anyone, physically to kind of get me through these things, that I had God. And from there, our connection has been that. I always talk to God. I feel God. I know God to be in everything. And I'll say it like this. I've learned, or I believe in my experience, that we are all made from God. And from that, my goal is to always share that unconditional love that God showed me that day. Um, that's what really kind of drew me to my current situation with Asia and our relationship, because it felt so similar to the love that I felt when I was connected with God. It was that unconditional love of, I see you, and I love you. And that's what sets me, to have this joy, because I know that to be true. Like I have that faith to know that's true, because I've experienced it. I continue to experience it. I have conversations. I do meditation. I'm always feeling that unconditional love every time. I touch my spirit. So that has completely transformed my relationship with God and my relationship with everyone, because I see everyone with that same love within them, as being part of God too. And that's what helps me build those relationships. That's what helps me overcome fear, because I see everyone from a loving perspective within me. So I don't come, I don't approach anyone unless it's from a position of love. So if I get anything other than that, then I'm really confused genuinely, because, there must be some type of miscommunication, because I love you. I love you because you're human, because you're a part of God, you're a part of me, you're a part of this universe. We're sharing a similar journey. And I just want us all to kind of see that, and to share that love as well.
So, if there was any advice that you could give a person that was praying for answers or listening to this episode, and you were their only chance of hope to believe in God, understand spirituality, to be able to glean and lean on you for advice, what would you give them and tell them?
Oh, I would give you so many things. I have so many things to say and to share. Um, the main things that I would share is that love starts from self first. That's, I think, anyone who wants to take this journey and wants to kind of figure out their lives, and what love is for them, what life is for them, it always starts from you. Even if you are looking, if your purpose is to find, and to build the reality that you want, it always starts from yourself, because you have to know yourself. You have to know, where you want to go, your purpose in these things. So I would say, practice loving yourself is the first thing that I give anyone. And the second thing is to have faith in that love. Because it's one thing to know and to have information, but you have to believe it too. And that comes with that authenticity of your life experiences, because it's one thing to listen to me, or to listen to you, Dr. Casey, but to experience it is a different level. So I always encourage people, my clients, I'm giving you information and advice, but you have to live it to truly know it for yourself. And that's the thing that I would say. And finally, just know that God loves you. I guess that would be the final thing. That's what I've experienced. I continue to have these conversations with anyone who is willing to have these conversations with me, and I've come to know that others that I come across share the same experience that I do, and they too believe, that they are loved, and I believe that for everyone. So if you are looking for answers, if you are a seeker and you are trying to, grow, or just be and live a happy, joyous life, practice your self-love, trust and have faith in the universe, and know that you are loved.
All right, that sounds great. So, you did mention that you struggle with some suicidal ideation. What would you share with people that may be struggling with that?
Oh man. Um, Talk about it. Um, that would probably be the best advice I could give. We all kind of have our own experience we have to go through. So just say, I, I love, and show grace for anyone going through a journey. Obviously, again, because I've been through that journey, so I know how difficult that can be. And being able to talk about it, I've come to know it's helped a lot, because it made me realize that I wasn't as alone as I thought I was. That depression was driven from illusions of what the universe, what reality really is. Like, I thought things were happening to me, but as I know now, they were happening for me. And anyone who is experiencing some type of trauma, or again, suicidal depression, or whatever you're kind of dealing with, being able to find a space that is non-judgmental, non-judging, and judgmental, loving, and supportive, and that allows you to just speak about it. I think it's so powerful. It's not that you have to seek answers, but to be able to express it, and get that off of your chest is a step. And that's what life is about. For me, I preach balance, and I always seek balance in that way, because I understand the universe and how it works. It's neutral in that way. Things are going to happen, but it's not bad. It's not good. It's just something that happens. So as we are continuing to evaluate our lives and wanting to be better or have a better situation, just being able to express it so you can get it out there and just know for yourself, like, hey, is this really, what I truly see it as, or could I be, mistaken because of some illusion or some misinformation that I have? And then maybe as you continue to use your voice and voice those and voice your troubles, you'll be able to receive guidance and help from others who are in those same spaces as you, are going through similar situations, and can let you know, hey, I've been through that thought process as well. This is what I did to kind of overcome that. Maybe it's something that you could try and to continue to just grow. And to my last point for advice is just, knowing that you are loved is extremely powerful, because for me, when I was thinking about suicide, it was, and just leaving, it was because I didn't have that faith in humanity. I felt
Mm.
like, everyone had an agenda, or someone was going to be out to get me, or that they weren't going to be able to support me. It was always me looking outside of myself. But to know that I was loved, and that people, are genuine, and they come from God as well, that has help me be able to express myself, and to say, like, I know that you are not just some innately evil person. You're human too, and that you go through things. And if we could share our life experience, maybe we can find some commonality and understand that, we're not alone after all.
So I do have another question, and we'll be wrapping up again here soon. But so you have two children.
Yes.
How do you plan to um impart the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, the spirituality, and all those things into your children?
I'm having so much fun doing it now. My two sons, they are biologically my girlfriends. Their father is no longer in the picture.
Hmm.
And I've have been with them, the oldest, since he had first turned 4, and the youngest he was turning, yeah, no, the oldest he was just turning 5, and the youngest he was just turning 3. And since then, it's just been constant dialogue. And in my life, I never kind of envisioned myself as being a step parent or raising children
Hmm.
that I
Hmm.
birthed. Anybody could tell you growing up that that was the farthest thing from my mind. I would even be vocal about saying I didn't
Hmm.
want to date anyone with children. But again, love is a powerful thing in that way,
Hmm.
and I learned to love them, and they too have helped me understand love on a way where, even when I do have children, that love
Hmm.
isn't going to be different just because they're biologically mine. Like, I
Right.
understand them as being human, and I love them for that. And being my sons is just, icing on that cake. So I treat them that way, and give them that respect of me as their father, and say, this is what I do. I'm always sharing, and they know that they are very much open to ask me any questions about anything. So we're always constantly talking. Sometimes it gets on my nerves, but definitely don't want to shun the curiosity. But the thing that I do, and I'm gonna really start ingraining him, my oldest, he likes to meditate with me as well. So
Hmm.
as I do guided meditations, I'm inviting him to come to some of my guided meditations so he can participate when I have those events as well. But we talk, even when they go, with other family, they'll go to church. We talk about religion. We talk about,
Hmm. Hmm.
people's beliefs, and about respecting other people's beliefs. Even though, I necessarily don't agree with some things, that doesn't mean we can't respect other people and what helps
Hmm.
them. So I teach things like that. Spirituality and the lessons that it teach are ingrained within my life. I don't view it as like a religion or a teaching. It's, for me, it's just a way of being. So I am this way all the time. So they are going to get, this from me all the time. So for however long I'm a part of their lives, they're going to be taught about spirituality, about, looking at things from an energetic way, loving people from your own kind of heart in that way, being critical in your thinking, looking at other people's perspectives, all these things that I preach to my clients, I'm teaching my kids the same thing, and just watching them grow and flourish, and be great humans. It's awesome. They're always the talk of the town every time I pick them up for school, and how much, they're just such great kids. So yeah, being a father is just a wonderful thing for me.
I am glad that you were able to experience that. And blood don't make your family, baby. Is it. It is presence, it is value, it is attention and affection, it is listening. It's all of the things that some parents don't even realize as being love that actually makes a person feel loved. Do you
Exactly.
have any books or do you have your own podcast?
I do have a podcast. I had to take a break because I don't know if I was gonna continue it. And I'm gonna have some things.
It be like that sometimes, brother. It be like
Yeah, yeah.
that.
I started it as just just a means to just get my voice out there. I just wanted to say some things.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely gonna get back into it. I drop things every now and again, but they always come back up. So, yeah, I do have a podcast. Everything's on my website. The podcast
Hmm.
is called Going Full Circle. I talk about everything life and about my journey. About events that I have, or just about my business and anything that kind of comes up to mind. I talk about that. I did have a book in the works. I'm probably gonna let that kind of simmer for a bit, get some life experiences, and then really dive into and releasing that. But the next thing I am going to do, I'm gonna drop some e-course classes.
Hmm.
They're in the draft. I need to finish them up, but yeah, I'm gonna have some very cool things I'm gonna show and really expand my coaching business as I am trying to go full time. But the big thing for me is that I'm doing everything very organically. I'm still trying to take everything step by step so I can continue
Hmm.
to balance my life.
Hmm.
I don't have a business to make money. I'm having a business just to continue to live my purpose. Um,
Hmm.
I do this even in my job, in my corporate job. I'm an IT project manager, but I still, I'm still the same person. I do Toastmaster speech. I talk about my spirituality. I talk about meditation. These
Hmm.
things are not foreign no matter where I go. So I'm just seeing where life kind of takes me. I have some opportunities coming up to host some guided meditation events around LA. So just diving in and seeing where things go. But for me, it's simply about being able to spread the message of love. And I, if it does translate into being able to support myself, because that is my manifestation. And once I manifest something, I just kind of let it go. So it's gonna happen. But as it is in the present, I'm simply just enjoying life. When I'm called to share something, I will do it. But no, I have a lot of things in the draft. So when spirit calls me
Listen,
to release it, I'll definitely send it out.
when it comes to a lot of things in the draft, trust me, I know it took me probably about 8 or 9 years to write one book. And it was mostly because when I write, I need to experience it so I can know what I'm talking about is what I'm talking about and
Exactly.
not me. I thought something, so I'm gonna just say it and I don't have no reference to back it up as a lived experience because the things that you say are very different from the things that you experience. You know what I'm saying? Like you might say something and it sounds like it's gonna go like boom, 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 and then the experience is like doo doo, boom, boom, doo doo, doo doo, boom, boom. It's like totally opposite of what you thought it would be. So what I would say as an encouraging um author and someone who has taking so many steps to do so many things and listen, just take your time. It is not what it seems like, and that's good and bad because online you get a lot of people with the just sell a class or just do this, like it is. I'm not going to say it's not easy. It's easy to create products. um it is easy to even advertise, but getting people not to only buy and purchase so you can get the money, but getting people to change with the product is the part that may be a little bit more time consuming than what you would like to think. Because our jobs is to create the product so that it's available. But just because it's available, even once people get it, like I've always been this person, like I want people to buy my stuff, but I don't want them to buy it and sit on it. I don't want to be the person that I took your money, but you didn't do nothing with the information that you just paid for. Because to me, it makes me feel like I have beat you out of something that I shouldn't be beating you out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So stay encouraged along this journey of creating. There are endless opportunities. There are endless ideals, but the things that really matter will stick and you will go further than what you expect.
Awesome. Thank
So
you.
if the people wanted to get in contact with you, please provide them that information, sir.
Yes, the best place to get in contact with me is on my website. It is ssgjourney.com. All my information, my email is on the website. It will continue to get updated as I take some things out of the draft and dive and throw it on the website for you to experience. I'm also on Meetup, so if you are interested in doing some online classes, workshops, if you're in the LA area, I'll throw events on there so you can check me out. I also throw some of my partner events where I'll host some other classes and metaphysical events as well. So yeah, all my information is on my website. If you want to just shoot me an email, interested in coaching, you can just shoot me an email. It's dwaltx@ssgjourney.com. So that's D as in Dominique Walt, WALT, and then the letter X at ssgjourney.com.
Yeah, because I was sure enough going to tell you, spell that out for me, please. Spell it for me. Okay. Is there anything that you would have to say as your final thoughts?
um, Actually, yeah, this conversation has been great. I enjoy speaking with you. I love having these conversations because I don't get to have them as much as I would want to. And not, excuse me, not just because of that, because it's always fun and exciting to be able to be open about this topic and to share and grow these ideas and our perspectives with others. So I'm happy you have come off hiatus and
Yes.
are back in the podcast space. And you took the time to allow me to share the space with you. So just wanted to say so thank you and thank you
I
to your listeners for having me as well.
I appreciate you coming on the show. It has definitely been great and interesting to talk to you, to meet you, to get to know you, to hear your story, and the love that you have for your family is amazing. It is not often that podcasts talk about the love that we share for those that we love. It's more of a combative area. So it's great to be able to have a very heartwarming conversation with a black man as a black woman. And it's not about fussing and fighting about who need to do what,
Yes.
when, why, and where. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to
uh,
have more of those conversations. It's on my agenda. I'm trying to reach some people, especially in the Black community, so we can have more conversations with men and women.
Healthy conversations. Yes,
Yes.
because I don't know where this um combative nature is coming from. Like it's always been like one of those underlying things, but
Yes.
now it is like everywhere you look and nobody, I guess, is figuring that we should all get along because we really need each other, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it was very nice speaking to you, and it was just an amazing experience. Thank you for being my first guest after my
Thank
hiatus. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back with
you.
the jump off.
Yes, I'm sure there
Um,
are plenty of great things to come.
it is. I have, I needed to take some time to work on myself. I went to massage school, so I'm a massage
Ooh,
therapist now. I have just been
congratulations.
kind of broadening my horizons. As a coach myself, I do a more community-based type of thing. So like these interviews and other things where people can get free information, where they can hear people's story, hear different insight, hear perspective, and then kind of figure out how to apply it to their life. But sometimes you have to take a heavy pause, do a reset, and figure out where you want to move forward and how to move forward. So going to massage school really gave me a little bit of a, break, but put me in a better position to be more hands-on with people because I like people. They can just be irritating at times. And being in the life coach space, you get a lot of people that want information but don't want to apply it, or they want to they want to dump all of their issues on you, but then they don't want to take information to make their situation better. They're not looking for solutions. They're looking just for a place to complain. So I have spent a lot of time kind of like just helping people from afar, allowing, if spirit puts something on me, then I deliver it to whoever it's for. But that takes a lot of connectedness on the internet. That means I used to be online all day, just kind of sifting through, figuring out who I'm supposed to help, how I'm supposed to help them, and what I'm supposed to say. So removing myself for a little while and then positioning myself as a massage therapist allowed me to still interact with people, more on an intimate level, but also be able to help alleviate their tension, their stress, because I am a big stress-free person. Stress is the number one killer. It's not cancer. It's not, all of these different things. It is the stress that causes cancer. It is the stress that causes health issues in most cases. So being able to help people in a more hands-on experience, and still be able to offer life coaching advice or sex coaching advice or, spiritual advice when I get a client that's a little bit talkative, is a real blessing. And to be able to have people that they might not be able to move their neck, they might have a crook in their neck, but when I'm finished, they're like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe what you just did." So, the hiatus was kind of unplanned, but it was definitely, definitely needed. And I feel re-energized and I'm ready. Thank you for being on the show today.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad again. I'm happy to have been here. It was a blast. So thank you.
All
Truly.
right, everybody. That is the end of today's show. See you next time.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Casey, Dr. Casey. Welcome to Speaking Freedom. We are happy to have you, and we hope that we are able to help you in every way possible. Have a good evening. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. New episode every Friday.